get on the report. So you're gonna see what's in there by default.
Right.
We'll get some marching orders on when you want to change it.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
So, yeah, if you hit reports to the left, just as a quick little thing, these are all the SM reports, but there's gonna be new Auburn custom reports in the SM module as well. You go to programs, all the programs are already, it's kind of blue and a couple of them have a little bit of green. And these are all right into the database versus that. So for SM quotes, for quote number 3 that we just saved, we can then run that report, and it's the work order quote. That's the entry program. That's the report. Double click. So every time you open it, these are crystal reports. So what I was telling Will, that see up here, 1,238. That report ID is 1238 of the 2,300 standard reports that Vista gives you. So to do that, let's put in 3 for our work order quote number, because the one we were testing on was number 3. I could run this and get a whole bunch, but I can leave it blank. Now, let's click on all these notes, just to click on everything.
Yeah, because I want to see where
If
it
we did have
comes.
notes, you could put them in here. Show costs, click on that
Yeah,
just for
because I wanna see
giggles.
it.
And it
Yeah.
seems
And
like
hit
O2
preview.
is right.
So
I don't
this
think it's
standard
all search.
Crystal report has future customer stuff, contact
Yeah. I
was
think that has.
Don Shaw and some phone.
Description,
The
because
scope is what you
service
typed in.
burden, in my mind, would be.
Labor.
Service department, where we would.
156, and this could be reformatted 6 times 150 gets
So
rid
the
of
price
it.
rate is the billable, cost rate is our cost.
Correct.
And if we uncheck the cost, then all we see is the price rate.
That's correct.
Right, yeah, we just
Okay.
checked everything, and I kind of wanted to just see what,
Kind of the standard thing looks like. And so usually you can copy this in and kind of make it be exactly what you want it to be.
See, the only thing with the template we were talking about, Gene, is when we sent this to the customer, even though they're not a customer, you would like to have it to who it is and where the site
well,
is.
absolutely, John, I was just thinking about that, but where does this, do I change that into,
Yeah. And
What are you
then
looking
the
for?
construction burden will go to
Well-
all the construction and special projects.
Okay.
Word doc.
What are you trying to do?
I guess I'm thinking in my brain about a couple of things.
is,
One is, I don't
Should
want
we
to
have-
set up a site for every
should we
fake
have a
customer that I quote
construction burden
to.
at one rate
So-
and a
so here's what we're gonna have to
CPG
do.
burden
Do me a
at
favor.
different rate?
So let's
You
go to
know
this
how
stuff.
We already put the
Meaning,
there's different
no, work order
rate
quotes
versus
up top.
construction jobs.
So
So I'm almost wondering
let's
if
talk about
having
this.
an additional burden.
Go type in 3 or go to the grid and let's grab quote
Which I
number
think
3.
is what we were originally trying to achieve by having this.
I'm sorry, this
I tried to pull my little thing down, it just ain't cooperating.
It's not moving very, do I have the right mouse?
Just stuff.
You're stuck. Does that help?
Right.
There you
I
go.
think it's, hit escape
I'm
maybe.
wondering
Right
if
up
we
there.
should
Keyboard.
have,
No, it's stuck in that little window though.
Oh,
See? She's stuck. There it goes.
Yeah, so I think that can have-
Why, you should be driving? the mouse likes you better.
And 30, I don't know what it did up there now.
I couldn't get it to harm at all.
30.
Hit the upper, those little 3 windows.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Laser pointer. Yep, there you go.
These?
So I'm
Yeah.
like, at this point
That
in the
one.
game.
Yeah.
There we go.
Since this
Oh, nope.
See,
We're-
No, it drug them, the cells down for some reason.
Service.
Oh, what it did is,
Yes.
30, 40, 50.
it's
collapsed.
Division
There you go.
code, and then make the
There we go.
constructions like.
so kind of like in Excel,
Yeah.
20,
it
I got you.
adjusts them.
21.
I don't know how you make that work.
Yeah, the row height, you kind of go between, you get your little double-sided arrow, you
You're
can
like, oh, I can only
select.
type in
So
that
then
one
that
little
way,
tiny
if you
field.
want to
You
have
type it
Five,
down like
three.
Excel.
6 and 12.
And go
Because
to
large
info.
cells run at a different burden rate than the
So, we got a couple of choices here. Here's what some of my customers like to do at this point in time. Instead of using Don Shaw here as text,
I've just made more homework.
do me a favor, click into here, hit F5. So now, if I were to go to your grid.
Before the next.
Let's do N here.
Good point, Roger about that.
Dawn.
All yours, Joe.
Thanks.
And
We just
Shaw.
created some more homework, so.
Hit the info tab so you can see what the method to my madness is here. Okay. Now, the organization put in quote. Okay. Now, what I'm doing in this situation is, when if he is part of a real thing, we can always change that. But now, imagine, put in some sort of dummy address, 2525, Riverbend Lane, Renton, Washington. So you could say, hey, where is this location, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
What I'm doing is I'm putting him in as a contact in your Rolodex just in case you want to contact him later. I'd say quote. Notice organization is quote because he's really not part of a company we're doing business quite yet or hooked up anywhere, but I could certainly find all my quote guides. But what I'm doing here is I'm putting in an alternate address. Hit save because I'm on the HQ contact. Remember my Rolodex
yeah.
that stores information about addresses and stuff about somebody in my database. Cancel out of here. Hit F4 and grab Don Shaw now. So instead of me just typing something in there, what did I do?
We created a contact in HQ, labeled it as quoted, so we
I
can
put in an
reference it.
address because guess what I'm gonna
So now it'll show.
do?
Can you use that address for the report?
Got to, because otherwise it ain't got no address. I haven't
Right.
stored it anywhere.
Right,
Now that I got a contact and an address associated with it, when I do a quote, now, since this future customer still doesn't have a customer address there because that's on the customer record, guess what I got hooked onto that baby?
Site address.
so does
I've
it,
got, we're gonna have this as the address we want for the quote because I've
But
got a
that
place to
only
store it.
works for the quote that's not a real customer. When you go to a quote that's a real customer, then your report's reporting to the wrong thing.
It'd be a different report at that point then, right?
Well, there's a little if statement. If it's future customer, then grab the description from the contact. If not, you grab a word, it already knows where to grab it from.
Yep.
It grabs it from there.
As default.
So in the deliverable, it's gonna, even though you don't see it here, it's gonna grab what you put into that quote.
When
So
you
that
add
means
future customers.
every time Ron does a quote to a future customer, he's going in and modifying future customer contact.
no. It means every time that Ron's doing a future customer quote, he's getting the customer's name and the site address, and he's setting them up as a contact. If we never do business with them again, we didn't go through the aches and pains of getting a report and setting them up as a customer. And it sits in there as a quoted contact and
But why would
HQ
you
contacts,
want-
and then if you want, you can have your salespeople go run a report in HQ and get all the contacts in there that are quoted. We've never done work with this
But,
guys
but
before.
why wouldn't you want his real organization in there?
Once we do accept a work order, then he is going to become an AR customer, SM certified. But right now, we don't have him in the database as an AR customer, SM
So there's gonna be a
Customer
lot of
customer.
them to quoted customer.
for ones that don't exist. We need somewhere.
Until you change
Right.
it to a real customer, when they become a real customer, then you want it
We
to be-
do a similar type of process now, but we don't have any way of catching those.
Okay, but the deliverable still is gonna say a site of that address, but it's not saying that it's to ABC Property Management, it's just saying it's to him.
Well, let's go see what it looks like.
Well, so let's talk about that. Now, even the existing one, so right here, it is the report.
I struggle with this little one right here.
Okay, so this one knows the service site address and the customer address. Now, the only reason nothing's here is because my future customer
Doesn't exist.
doesn't have nothing, but that's where we could pull. Now, so to follow up on John's statement is on the Don Shaw's record, which we just created, we only have one address at this point in time because we don't have the multi-tier thing of SM customer, SM service site with potentially different addresses. It's okay at the quote time that you really only have one address. You could treat it as both. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or is he giving you my address is this, and the address I want my work to done is over here. Probably not at the
Well,
quote time.
we mostly, if we're doing a quote with somebody that we've never done business with, the catch is that we're not sending them over to accounting to run the background check on them and setting them up as a customer and all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we could, and then we would never use this.
No,
But if they don't,
I know we're not doing that,
Okay.
but that deliverable still says CBRE, whatever, and it's at the ABC building.
so currently what we do is we book it under Auburn Mechanical, and then because the report that generates from Maxwell, it poops out in Word. And we go in and change the site address.
Word,
at
yeah,
the
you can do
Word.
it all within here, you're not doing that two-step process, really.
Yeah, except that you can put stuff in it that's not in here. That's what she's saying. We do it against Auburn Mechanical, but we go put the client's bill-to information in the Word document.
Yeah. And you can
But
do it
it's the
here,
same
too.
thing, when that client approves the work, we send them over, get them set up as a customer. We do the 3 things that have to happen to set anybody up as a customer. And then before we release it, we change it.
We could do that exact same process, if you hit export to Word doc.
That's what I started doing, but
Yeah.
it depends, I don't know how our reports are gonna, what our reports are gonna come out and where they're saving and all of
See
that.
what
That's
it
why I
looks like.
started doing
Yeah, hit
this.
the Word doc and let's see.
Okay.
Boom, and then you could go up and change it. Maybe. Is it an image?
It's,
Double click it.
it's a,
Oh, you're on shadow, the effect behind it. You gotta click on the, yeah, right in the text. There you go. So then you can.
I'm sorry. Where do I have to click it? I'm not clicking.
Here, I'll show you. So this is just a background image
Okay.
to make the report look good.
And
And you
you-
click right there, you hit space.
Ah,
Now you start typing. And you can change things and write.
If we wanted to.
No, you're in the box for address.
In his fancy crystal report, he's gonna have an if statement that says, if it is a 9,000 future customer, then grab the address, city, state, zip off of there if we want to. Does that make sense? You don't have to go in there.
so can I
Because
go
his
back and
if
look at
statement
that
will say,
HQ
if
thing?
this, then this.
Yeah.
And it'll just
So that'll be a
change.
business process. I like the way Don's talking about it because then you have all your quota customers that you can report on if you want to. or
I
look
do
at,
as well,
kept in the system.
right, and
It's
everything's
nice,
in
and
there.
then when he's a true
Mhm.
customer, he's in my Rolodex,
Yeah.
and then I just attach him to my customer, because he already exists as an HQ contact. And I just remove the quote out of his organization, because then he's in
He's
with his
Yeah, then he
real,
pulls out the
AR
reporting
customer
for quoted organization customers.
Yeah.
But then, let me see that,
so this little report is what Will and I can help modify, so just click on that so we can see it on the big screen.
oops, I would have,
So,
I did.
just so you know the basics about how Vista works. Normally, there's a header, a footer, or header, detail, and a footer. So let's go to the top. Usually the header, we're gonna put your logo and certain quote header information that's overall information you wanna see about the thing. Then this is what I call the detail portion. You can spec that out, and that's gonna be labor, material, miscellaneous, and some sort of total formatted how you wanna see it. Then in the footer, at the very bottom, we can make this footer be something. So really, there's only a few sections of the report that you can QA,
Yeah.
header, detail, and there can be multiple
Well,
details.
there's a bunch of different, because you have report header, report footer, report detail, and then you actually have page header, page footer.
Tons of variables
Yeah.
within that,
Mhm.
tons of variables.
So if you guys will bear with me for a minute, what
Yeah.
I would like to do is go back over to that HQ customer thing. And
HQ
just-
contacts.
Okay, thank you. And that's in here, and that's in here.
So let's go to the grid and talk about this table. Maximize this. Let's put your filter bar in, please. So, like I said, the organization here can usually be the company or the quote since he isn't in it. But the information, if you click on Don Shaw and go to the input tab just to see easier, we could put some UD fields in here to create additional user-defined contact fields. But the basic stuff is name, first name, last name, title, organization, normally that's company, or in this situation, we were gonna quote to tag it as a quote, phone, cell, fax, email, and then we have one address at this point in time. If we did need an additional address, we could have a UD address, et cetera, but so far that's what we got. For each,
From my Rolodex.
this your Rolodex.
So,
And then I can attach this once that customer is a true SM customer. Then Don Shaw can be the primary contact on the SM customer. They're already here. And I would just delete quote out of the organization and hit save, because he'd be attached to Don Shaw, apartment management or whatever he is. Yeah.
okay, so one of the things is that it would be nice to not have to go in and modify each work, quote and a Word doc as I'm doing it, right? It would be better to keep it all within the system. So if I'm using this contact to generate that, what if I put the name of the company?
Well, actually, I mean, for organizations using that, we could create a custom UD tool that calls something.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's actually in here for organization put, if it was Don Shaw Management or something like that, we would put Don Shaw Management Limited or whatever. And then I think we'd probably have another checkbox for quote or something and put a UD, so it would be yes, no checkbox for a quote contact only or something. But then this could print as well as other stuff, and we might want to go down that road. I agree with you.
Or the organization is the name of the building where we're doing the work, because at this level, when I'm just generating a quote, I just want the address of where I'm going to do the work.
But there's a bunch of voodoo in the back that's going to say something different, point to something different than a normal quote, because it's going to have the AR customer and all that to flow through normal, right?
Yeah, well, let's look, so go ahead and just save that.
So
Let's skinny this up just for a second and pull this to the left. Thank you.
theoretically, not that good at it.
What do you do if a client doesn't have this big a screen when you're going to do this stuff?
I sit behind them and we're not as luxurious as this. Okay, so let's hit this, do we close out with that little report? We'll launch this one more time. So what we need to spec out under SM quotes, hit this report. Cancel it there. That's our data entry program.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's our report. And that's going to be customized. So let's put in 3. And for now, let's check all these boxes. Well, let's leave show cost off of that just to show you what it looks, because then we can rerun it. Click on quote.
Don?
Yeah.
Before we click on that part, can I ask you one other question, because it's got to do with how it shows up for me?
Yeah.
On the quote itself, we went through the pains of adding the notes that have my T's and C's, but I didn't put it in this quote, which we talked about doing. My standard note.
Okay.
So I'm on
now,
this one.
So let's go through the concept at the info tab. Let's put the notes at the header, because like I said, notes can be anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Because notes are pretty much everywhere in the darn system. So let's click there, right click, and let's go to standard notes, hit F4, and this will be the list of your SM standard notes. And then you can say okay, and it pops your standard notes, and then you could continue to type or do anything you want in here, because you can modify the text of your standard notes. So now that's on the SM quote header notes is where we're storing that. And there was a checkbox on that crystal report that said, show me my SM quote header notes, because another checkbox said, show me the notes.
I can still see Ron have a bunch of Word docs that you can cut and paste that up and want to hear.
No, I don't want to do it that way, Joe. I want to figure out how this works.
Save.
It's not.
So now go to the bottom where that report is minimized. Or did you close out? Okay.
She closed it.
Okay, nice thing about Vista, you can keep your report open as much as you want. So let's close out of this one. Let's go ahead and let's close some of these. Close that dispatch board. Let's close that extra one.
Regular what?
Okay, now let's go and run that report right there.
Type regular. One they're created for you.
So, put in 3. Okay, now notice, print quote notes, print scope quote notes, and there's a checkbox for yes or no for both of those. So you gotta know where you're gonna store those notes.
Right.
And the system will put them in certain places.
And I want to see what they
Yeah.
look like, okay?
Okay, so hit preview. So now that we have notes and we told this crystal report, now, yesterday when we did this, if we scroll down, the notes went in after this, but they can be anywhere. Hit page 2. It's the second page of this report, and the quote notes were here, but they can go anywhere. The notes are just kind of sitting there as page 2 in this situation of the quote, but they could be sitting in the detail below the labor material miscellaneous
be inside
equipment
scope?
thing. It can be wherever you want, as long as there's enough room and stuff to have the header, the detail, and the footer, so that you can put as much text as
Depends on
possible.
how big it grows, 'cause it's gonna bump things to the next page.
That's
It
correct.
does that routinely, right? But this,
It's however we want.
I have a
right,
quick
okay, so
question.
that's probably stuff we can do
Okay,
online. I don't need Dom, you know how to help me with this.
Didn't the detail on the work order, it seems odd to me that the site is on the left and the customer's on the right. Earlier, wasn't the customer on the left and the site on the right?
We can do that though, we can organize it however you want.
Yeah, and in this situation for a quote, a true customer has both a service site and a customer. The question is for our future customer, do we need a double tier address? Does that make sense? A customer address and a service site address separate from the customer address. I kind of doubt it for a future customer, because if it was the same thing, we could probably replicate it here or whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
So this can be, just think there's data and you enter data.
You don't know site, so you could have quoted things for a guy 3 times and it doesn't show you where it's at. You don't know where it's
Okay,
at.
so instead of canceling out here, you can just leave this up here.
Okay.
And then the next time, just hit preview when you change something, if you want to see something different. You don't have to
Gotcha.
rerun your report or anything like that. So basically, in this work order quote, what you have to decide is anything that you put on here, we can put on that report. But if it isn't here, we got to figure out a way to get it on there, kind of like our little HQ contact workaround for an address that isn't pulling from the database. We had to create one so that it would exist, and we would know how to get it from the contact. So since
where
we're
did I
linked,
just put my notes a minute ago?
hit refresh.
Oh, thank you, yep, I'm with you.
Customers on the left, sites on the right.
So,
On here, yeah. And
I put those
Everywhere I
notes,
see the customers on
Hit
the
the grid.
left. And so
I like to-
report, but quote stops.
The reports are all customizable.
Hit refresh one more time.
And then they'll always be that way.
Notes are right there.
I just think you
okay,
can
so if I didn't put them there, because I did not like where that
For the
came
way you
out,
did out of the box, I mean.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, everybody's.
I could put them,
It's this, and then it's.
I thought we'd try it here first, just for giggles. Now, yeah, either way, you could have pasted our F4
I have to find it.
if you would grab it off of your one copy.
It says it's on your clipboard is what I think you would say.
Yeah, it was still on your clipboard, so we could have pasted or
oh, I didn't realize it was on my clipboard,
said, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
So now hit save. So now the nice thing is, when I go down to my report here and hit preview, I don't have to don't load anything. It'll see the new data, and it'll show you if I put it in the notes
We
or
didn't
the
have- we
sequence.
didn't have it checked.
Yeah, it was checked, but actually it's putting it in scope sequence 1. It's still on the second page though, so, but it can be anywhere. It's text. You just got to say, where do we store it? and where do we want it on the report? So moving it, notice I just put it in a block here. That thing can be up wherever, but that's the crystal report modification. Where do I want my text to appear? But by default, it's going at the bottom of the, underneath the footer.
Is it okay if I try one more thing, Don?
Sure.
You guys bearing with me for a second?
Yep.
So, yeah,
Oops, that's not,
yeah, go to your
not that
quote.
smart. Okay, so at this point then, the way that life is this is like that, and then
Info,
here,
you want to paste it in the details?
what I want to do is go, I'm just going to go, Ron's just going to go like this.
No.
Oops.
Why don't you paste it in there? Aren't you looking to paste it in there?
I did, but
Oh.
where this is printing,
No, but you didn't paste it into here. You
No.
pasted it into the notes.
right,
So so are you trying to append these notes or overwrite them?
I was overriding them
Okay, so
because this format,
sweep into there and block out the whole thing. Now delete. Right click, paste, because it's still on your clipboard. Well, actually somehow,
I magically
hit
lost
delete,
it.
go to the notes.
It's because I'm cool like that.
Oh, let's grab the whole thing right there, copy. And now when you go to your details, let's sweep through there and delete and paste. And now hit save.
Okay, but now I have to come up here and type in these things.
She's just
That's
trying-
my format.
Type in what things?
That's your template.
Mhm.
Existing, we found the water heater leaking and rusted out at the bottom,
Oh,
and the
gotcha.
scope is that
Yeah,
to remove, replace the water heater, blah, 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 blah.
yeah, so now you're modifying your
This is
text.
the deliverable that he's got.
Just, I'm just thinking about the deliverable.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever, right? So I save it.
Save. Now here's a nice feature in Vista. Go to that report over there, hit refresh. Okay? You saved the data, so guess what that crystal report just did? Looked fresh, and now notice that where, go up a little bit, since you put it in the details, guess where it's putting that text? Now, scope sequence 1 doesn't mean anything to the customer, so you could get rid of that. Does that make sense? Scope sequence 1 means some to us, just because we understand the goofy Vista work order scope sequence structure.
But you
But
just
that,
took it off the
we would get that off of this quote to the customer. This customer-facing document, they don't give a hoot about that. Okay, but that text that you put in, just put it right there, right below what I call the header,
Right.
right above the detail of that. If you put it in there, it goes in
So
there.
the next page, it looks like it bumped down the signature and such.
But at the same time, if you said, hey, I want to do it on the notes, we could have put the notes in there just as easily by moving the field. So if you want to save that detail thing for something else and use the notes to put right under there, it's totally flexible. Does that make sense? Don't think that you can't have your cake and eat it too, because you
Yeah, I think you
can
also have our
have
terms and
both.
conditions and all that other stuff. There might be a note that you're dropping in the bottom of the deliverable.
And maybe at the bottom, you want all your terms and conditions. A lot of times people put that on that second page. Remember how that stuff popped on there?
Right.
Because it's got more, some legal
Yep,
stuff
that's
or
what-
whatever, and
That's what I was just saying.
that kind of stuff. So that's usually, maybe at the end of page 2, we'll give you a little
But it would be a
addendum.
note where you had it in there.
First one's the
Well,
nitty-gritty.
but if you look at what, and it doesn't, I don't know if I need to bring it up for you guys right now, but what happens right now is
If you like what you have right now, we can basically mimic it
Yeah.
exactly.
I think it would be nice because then it would necessarily change
could.
my client's view of what they've been used to seeing. Because here's the exclusions that I've typed in there, right?
Yep.
But then here is some nice language about what you want, how to contact
So
us.
think of this, you don't
And
even
then
have to
over
use-
here is my,
If
true
we're gonna go
nitty-gritty.
about doing that, what we can do is actually create fields on the work order quote that are exclusions. We could, on the form itself, and so you could type your exclusions in there and have a template for that if you wanted to, and then we could have, go back to that other page? But you know what I'm saying, we
Yeah.
could actually create those and have those just go to the report.
yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll work together on that when
So
the
the
time
one thing you're
comes.
modifying existing conditions in the scope and everything else is.
Well, 'cause that's what we
you
do
already
right
have
now.
scope.
Is occasionally we do some things to change the exclusions. If we're punching a hole in the wall to do the work, we say
Sometimes it
that
is on
somebody else is
overtime, and
gonna.
it says excludes overtime, so you gotta modify that, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
or
so what we're
sometimes
gonna give you is a
we're not responsible for repairing the hole in the wall,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, and, sometimes we change this if we're, just have room, if it's just a room issue, but we never change this. Those are John's.
I mean, there's a lot of ways we do. We could put acceptance of proposal field basically on there, and then I could set a default value, copy all that text, paste it to there as the default value on every work order scope, and then it just comes out every time. But you still have the option to modify. Or you could do standard note thing, or you can do, there's
Right,
a
I'm
lot
with
of
ya.
different ways
Yeah,
to get there.
A lot of different ways to
Lot
skin
of
the cat.
different-
Okay, so, and that's what we have. When this is on the backside,
Yeah,
it just poops out like this every time we do the
Yeah.
report.
we can do that definitely.
Yep.
We could poop
Okay.
it out.
I agree.
I think I'm starting to get offended.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
I can say
Do
shoot
that.
it out.
I think it just shows you
All being
how big a
recorded.
habit you are of saying that.
It's pretty bad. I apologize. Try not to offend anybody for like 12 hours. And I'm out.
So,
I think we should all put a pot in and guess when the next poop it out comes out. Whoever wins closest to the poop it out.
so here's what I took from John's conversation yesterday. Once we get this structured and we get the header with your nice logo and that whole thing, and then the detail, and then the back page is text and all that kind of stuff, I believe he's going to want a button on this report because it's going to be something like this. It'll say AM work order quote for Auburn County. Because sometimes you want to see, just give me the whole amount. Like that one was $1,275. But he says, sometimes I want to show them what was that $1,275. Remember, we had labor this much, materials this much, miscellaneous this much. Then we can go into each of those things, but there needs to be a little button here that says detail, suppress detail, maybe checkbox, and then you're going to get the summary.
We had radio buttons.
He's gotta give you the-
summary breakdown and breakdown. So
And all those
you have to
are-
redo the quotes. You
Yeah,
just gotta
those
get
were
the-
hard
Those
to-
are a bunch of if statements basically within the report. that
And
you
we can set one of them up as the default.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But the data has to be in Vista at the most detailed level so we can start rolling up.
Yeah, 'cause then you
Right.
can always dummy it.
Gotcha.
Always, that's what we always want to do. And that's exactly the Word doc that is the deliverable where, I mean, again, I'm praying you guys get this where you take it from the T&M study. It's exactly the same thing because we entered the lines, the markups and all that. That's
We
your
just got it
estimate.
going.
No, sort of. Yep.
No, I added them in when you were.
It's in there. I just have to do it to the rest of the price book.
I did it to standard and preferred.
For the labor rate.
Yeah.
The billable rate.
And for the materials, just use the markup.
Yeah, so cancel out here. On the T&M ones, which sounds like you're probably going to always want to quote T&M because the fixed price to Vista literally means it's fixed price and it suppresses a bunch of other stuff going on. You're saying, hey, I thought you said you were just going to quote me some sort of amount or something
What
like
happens
that.
when we release it to a work order and yet it's estimated in time and material?
You'll see here, now, so we're going to switch it over. If it is fixed price, we're going to change it to a fixed price. Does that make sense? Because we have to at that point in time. How do I want to handle it for billable purposes? I have to be either fixed price or time and material, so I can bill either fixed price or time and
That's at a
material.
work order, not a quote.
Yeah.
That's not quoting, that's how I'm billing my customer,
That's right.
I'm with you. I'm with you. That's instead of pretty colors on my folders.
okay?
That's
So-
up a notch.
So you ready to go to the next
Yes,
step
sir,
of
I
this?
am.
Perfect. So Let's cancel out of there, cancel out of our contacts. Let's open our quote here for a second. Okay, so right now, I've got a quote, and it's not approved yet, and we're not going to cancel it and stuff. But let's say that, and let's show them what we did under the labor tab right there. Just so you know, if we scroll to the right,
John, look,
this is what Will got working. We put 150 straight time. If we scroll to the left, he called them tech regular. So the tech regular service
Yeah,
dude.
Weaver?
In
the background.
Yeah.
It's almost getting dangerous. I love it.
So we got tech regular, tech overtime, tech service. So we picked tech, cancel out of here, tech reg, and then the billing rate for 6 hours was $150 and it extended over to $900. So we got that working while we were out for lunch, okay? So-
literally.
Hold on, but there was some I just saw. I wondered why it didn't show when you were in the quote module, the total. I saw on the right where it said, where you remember it was details are derived. How come it's not showing you the total?
Right there, you mean?
Yes.
You gotta hit the checkbox.
What checkbox?
Derived.
But that's budget, that's cost.
Budget.
Okay, but that's still to us is what to sell us.
Not
Not
anymore,
anymore.
using the T&M methodology that we just fixed
So we
up.
don't see what the quote is.
If you want to put costs in there, you can, but yesterday you told me you weren't really
No, I'm not
worried
trying to
about
see
having
costs.
margins or
I'm trying to
costs.
see right now,
He wants to know his
I
quote.
can't see what the quote, I can't see what the quote amount is. I'm just trying to, that's cost, right? Is that sale price?
It's a mixture,
It is a mixture.
Yeah,
because your labor is sell at $150 an hour, and your material is at cost.
No, the material's marked up in there.
Go there, cost is 600.
And I'm marking it up.
1,050. Go back to that other little view.
The total for labor, material, everything.
That's the total price is all in there.
Mm-hmm.
So is that's accurate, that's our real price of the proposal is 2,045?
we'll go to the labor, no, so go to the labor. There is no cost in here.
No, we're
There
talking
is
about price.
No,
billable.
I'm talking about price.
Price.
I understand. So those margins are not correct only
I
because.
know, but what about price?
I'm just trying to
Price, the total
see,
price of this to
Okay, so
customer?
let me ask you this question down a different way.
Mhm,
If we don't have that button push because this is a time and material quote,
mhm.
how do I know from looking at this what the price to my customer is going to be?
It's not on the screen unless you look at, you click that button or look at that report,
I'm sorry, which button, sir?
that derived button.
I believe that the sale price is 2,045 here.
So
So,
it's deriving it from all those tabs is
Yeah.
what that means.
but it is our
That
sale
means derive
price.
it from those
It's
tabs.
the total price to the customer, those 2,045. If we ran the report right now, so if we go back to that report and we look at the very bottom and see the total, it should be 2,045 because that's the report you're sending to your customer. The quote report. Yeah, that right there. SM work order quote. So if we double click that and,
Put 3 in. See, it's 2045. So
you
that's
can't-
all I was trying to say is that price total is giving you, there's calculating the price by that. It is marking up by the price book.
Mhm.
And so when he's doing it, he can
Cost.
see what the sale price is.
Mhm.
It's just saying, it says price.
Doesn't need to look at cost, doesn't need to look at it. It's their sale price, yep.
Yep.
Or you can.
So go
because
back to
that
the,
is
go back to the
cost.
quote, Gene.
And you
Right.
can do
All I'm saying
margins.
is, total price, the quote is 2045. The estimated profit is garbage. You could actually, I wonder if you could get rid of that. Just not even see the estimated profit because it's not real. Then everything else would just be exact. Cost is not real either.
Labor hours are real though.
Labor
So you can
hours.
see labor
So
hours
if
and
we
price
saw labor hours and
That'd be
price
cool.
total, that's all that I would.
That's all you need.
Because Ron's just gonna go, okay, I know I've worked my math and, okay, is it right before I go print it or report?
So those aren't fields, those are actually reported out, sort of like a description type thing. Is there any way we can F3 those? And hide them?
Do me a favor, hit save up there. Where it says derived, hit F3 on that. Oops, just click on that one more time. F3. So there's a bunch of stuff, derived estimate, get your little down arrow right here. Derived estimate, derived labor hours. So
Pricing total,
what do we want to get rid of?
derived,
Derived estimate?
derived,
Yeah.
estimate profit,
Do we want to get rid of derived
estimate,
So these are all those little things that you just, in that little
cost total.
section.
We only wanted labor hours and price. So we-
Derived cost total.
Well, there's the labor hours and there's price, so I mean, they're right there.
So can you make the estimated profit go away?
Well, no, it's derived. Anything with derived in front of it, I think, is what's in that box. So
Okay.
derived cost total, yep,
Yes.
click that. And then go to, yep, there you go. So it's a test, let's see if it took it away.
Okay.
Can you do the other ones? So
Yeah, we can, we just want to test so that.
You have to know which one you're in, and then your F3 goes into the derived option.
So we just want to get rid of estimated
And
profit.
hide
Yeah, derived
what's going on.
test profit.
Go back there and right click again.
F3. So it's your down arrow, there's a derived estimated profit.
Up to, is it estimated?
Derived estimate. That's gotta be it.
It's just too long for that. Deselect show on form, showing grid, apply, okay.
And then it just shows the total hours and the,
Mhm.
it's
Now
estimated.
estimated profit.
We need that back, that was the checkbox. Hopefully we can get that.
Hit view, show hidden fields. Okay, go in there again, F3. Hit your little down arrow, we gotta call that thing.
It's the right estimate, we gotta re-put that back in, yep, that one right there.
Check
So
those.
check that. And then you go back up, oh, you have to do it one at a time, huh?
No, you just apply it.
Oh, okay.
Now what we're looking for is
This one.
drive profit.
There you go.
That's it. Apply, okay.
It didn't show the total, but it still shows the field.
The header.
Hit F3 one more time.
Or do we have that? No, it's still showing hidden fields, right? Or no?
Let's go check that in just a sec. Hit that down arrow.
I'm just doing this on myself right now.
Drive profit. Which is the estimate? Drive estimate.
But that was the button. That's when we lost the button.
That's
We
when
did that
we
one
Let's
already.
derive cost total.
Was that the one that was still on there? Because the description in grid, with this description was sitting there and the data value was gone.
Yeah,
Direct
So-
cost total?
You wanna
that's
try
the
that?
one we did. If you click on that, Gene, they're gonna show not checked, that's what we took off. But it didn't, it took off the value.
This one was
It
the
didn't-
button, so we don't want that one to go
Just
away.
see, like, we don't, doesn't mean
Yeah, that's the one that we lost the button. That's, derived profit, that's the field. Maybe that's it right there,
hit that.
hit that one.
So
That's
it's
the one-
not
that's the
showing
one we
on the
did.
grid. But
So these are the two that we've done.
hit the system
Or
overall.
scroll up too, because they're not in alphabetical order.
So we did all of those just on mine so far. So,
Yeah, we'll want to go system.
Go up, scroll up a little bit on the bar. Derived profit, that's the one we did, right?
except for it's not. I
That's the
Do it again.
need to do it on this one, right, Don?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
System one, yeah.
That's the button.
That's the button. What did you apply, just apply to? You put it back in right now?
Price total derived?
We haven't looked at that yet.
No, we haven't. That might be it. Try it. Why not? Price and total
That's
derived.
Oh, that was everything.
So we do want the price total.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't, yeah.
Estimated profit header is what the thing is.
Price total derived.
Sure. System, okay.
Okay, why is the number still there? We put the number back in?
No, because I have to change it. Was that this one? Estimated profit?
No,
Yeah.
derived as.
The one
No, it's derived profit, up higher, 1094.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go here. It's already off.
But that means don't show it, and we do want to show it, because we do want to show the derived product. Well, no,
No.
just the derived price is what we want. Yep, that's fine. Don't deselect, just so it's blank.
Okay, so it's blank.
Top one, yeah, there.
Yeah. Apply, okay. Okay, hit refresh.
We're just trying to get these words to be
Estimated
gone.
profit text is keeping.
Where's the other one? It took.
Weird, it took the title and the value off.
But that one, it didn't take the title.
Well, we can work on that,
That's
but,
okay, I'd rather just not have a
It's
number
good
there.
Yeah, I mean.
okay,
And then sales tax will automatically be by the price book when sales are all in there, right?
yeah, we're gotta get those taxes in there so we can start testing those. So at this point in time, this is a unapproved quote, which just means, hey, haven't heard back from them, and I'm not gonna approve it and make a work order yet until I hear back from them.
Right.
Okay, so let's hit your double thing so I can see the top and the bottom. Okay, so pull that down a little bit. Okay. So let's go ahead and approve, please. Okay. And I got a customer and a service site.
So in this case, Don, before I hit approve, I would need to go in and change that to my correct customer site.
Not necessarily, but cancel out of here. That'd be one way to do it. So if you want to, yeah, so hit F4. But at this point in time, we would have had to have set up old Don Shaw,
Yes.
wouldn't have, in this
Right.
situation. So we'd have went through our 3 steps.
Yes,
AR customer Don Shaw, SM customer
customer,
Don Shaw, and where the heck's the
site
service
one.
site or more.
right.
And so at this point in time, do you want to point it to somebody else as just pretend Don Shaw is one of these other guys?
Yeah.
But at this point in time, we would have to
Where's
find.
Chris Snyder's house? She's in there. Virtual rental. There she is, right there in Snohomish.
Okay, and now it wants to know F4 and which location. And so now down at the bottom, scroll up just a hair. At this point in time, are we going to build this on
Why doesn't it
T&M
change
or are
the
we,
customer
did we
contact?
quote
Why
Chris
doesn't it
We
flip
quoted
the
Chris
customer
a
contact?
flat price.
price?
Oh, like, good quote. She goes, how come the contact, we gotta change the contact?
Oh,
No, I was just saying, how come it didn't change the customer contact?
You would go to.
I could change it. It's-
F4.
No, but I thought you wanted to change him to the real organization, because right now he's not to a real organization. That's another thing we have to do before we release that. We have to change that contact in
The organization. from
HQ
quote.
contacts, because
Yeah.
right now he's not to that.
Okay, that's fine.
now, we'd have to
Dawn
delete it
wants to
here.
pay for the,
So Chris isn't an HQ customer or an HQ contact as of this point in time, otherwise we could have picked her off the list.
Right.
So hit
Oh, I
delete
see.
just to
Okay.
get rid of that customer contact. And then if you want to get rid of this requested by, but at this point in time, we would want to hook them up to the real contact or get rid of, well, actually in this situation, he would still be in there, right?
Right,
Because we would still want to put Don Shaw as a contact on the Don Shaw customer that we just set up,
right.
because that was one of the benefits of setting them up there. Okay.
But we're gonna, we gave her a flat price,
Okay.
or him, or whatever, a flat price. So,
Okay, so now you gotta come in here and you gotta change this to flat price. And we had a derived one of, what, 2405 or something, but That would be if it was going to use the T&M workup with exactly those hours and stuff. So now I've got to go flat price
2045.
for
I
that.
have to know it before I do that. I would anyway,
Keep that
because
there.
I'm gonna have
There
the,
you
co-
go.
I'm gonna have it there, but I'm also gonna have a signed copy in front of me, and the customer's approved it, so I'm gonna know it's 2045.
Mhm.
Okay, so at that point in time, that's kind of a derived price total from those 3 tabs. But when you go to fixed price, the system is saying, oh, you obviously negotiated. And how
Right,
much did you negotiate for?
right.
And it's going to be a flat amount, because when it goes, this stuff, the template disappears, you go to the price, it wants to know what's my bottom line negotiated price. And now when you hit split, if you hit save, you're gonna have to split this. And this is where I was saying Vista allows you to break the revenue down by labor, materials, miscellaneous, but if you don't want to worry about that, just throw it to labor on the
Right.
top line,
Right.
okay? So N
Oops, and,
one,
sorry.
yeah, well, that'll pick the next type, labor. And then you can put 100%. The system allows you to break it out, but you don't have to, okay? This is a fixed price breakdown that Vista says you have to do it,
But the billing's not gonna bill it all under labor, are they? Are they gonna bill it all under labor?
well, it all depends how we want our billing invoice to show up, but if you wanted to have a billing invoice for fixed price show up with a breakdown of that fixed price, it would have to grab it from somewhere. If you don't, and a lump sum is just a lump sum of billing amount, then you don't have to have labor types. You just say 2045
Let's
is
just do it
my
like this and
fixed
see what
price
that
billing,
invoice looks like. So,
okay?
it's
So,
taxable, do we not check that?
you want to put tax?
So let's put tax, I don't care what it is.
Got
maybe we're wrong right now, but
Washington,
let's-
I have Washington, it would have pre-filled from the service side, but we
Yep.
don't have
So right
taxes
now,
on the
let's-
service
Loading a
side.
new service? Is that what we're doing?
We're just turned a quote into a service call.
Work order.
We're just about ready to do
But
that.
where's the box check that I was just seeing? That didn't get quoted.
Under the split.
Oh, it was under split, so I just wondered if you checked it there, whether it would have done it for you, and you didn't have to.
Okay,
Well, it
You
needs
wouldn't
the-
have-
it
you
needs
wouldn't
the
have had to do it.
requirements for it though.
Okay.
Like you're doing the work in order, you know what I mean? It needs those requirements.
Yeah, and it's not loaded yet, so. We have to just bake the system and.
So it says the tax amount, but not the total amount on there, right?
Both of it.
No, it doesn't say tax. plus
But this
total.
doesn't matter.
Oh,
It
I
doesn't,
gotcha.
it doesn't matter. This is just still converting the quote. Doesn't matter right now.
I got you calculated.
I like
okay,
this.
so there's quite a bit to change if you're going from no customer to a real customer, and at the bottom, from a T&M quoting capability to a flat price billing capability. Now, had I went from an existing customer and T&M to T&M, there wouldn't have been much to do there. Does that make sense? But it depends upon the variables of what you're changing, about how you're trying to quote versus work order, okay? So at this point in time, we can go ahead and approve, because now we've changed all the header information to point to the right thing, and we've changed the bottom information, okay?
Approved, we're now in work order, aren't we?
No,
I'm in,
Oh,
I'm in
I
the
thought we
quote.
already approved it.
No, we backed down of it to change
Okay,
this.
sorry.
Is it thinking?
Yeah.
There we go. Now I'm in a work order. See? SM work order.
quotes.
You're still in quotes.
Quotes.
But it changed the status to approved.
Okay.
Okay, so now cancel out of here. And cancel out of here.
Is there a way to go directly to the work order from quote?
I had to